As for was I on the phone call, I was on the phone call.
All right, that is Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and he's being called out over the fact that he was listening in on the phone conversation between Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Donald Trump. Now, this was the July 25th phone conversation where Trump specifically asked Zelensky to do favors for him, including digging up dirt on Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. Now, at first, Pompeo denied knowing anything about it, but then there was reporting indicating that he actually listened in on the call. So here he is, finally taking ownership of the fact that he knew what was going on. Take a look.
As for was I on the phone call, I was on the phone call. The phone call was in the context of, now I guess I've been the Secretary of State for coming on a year and a half. It's what our team, including Ambassador Volker, were focused on, was taking down the threat that Russia poses there in Ukraine. It was about helping the Ukrainians to get graft out and corruption outside of their government. It's what the State Department officials that I've had the privilege to lead have been engaged in, and it's what we will continue to do, even while all this noise is going on.
Pompeo's first strategy was, I don't know what happened there. I haven't seen the transcript. I haven't seen the memo. I haven't seen the whistleblower complaint. I don't know. Then it was to deny, and now, you caught me? Okay, fine, I was on the phone call.
Not only I was on the phone call, what I did was right. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, and we're gonna continue doing the right thing, right? So this is exactly what you can expect from anyone on the right, anyone who's in office and in any type of position of power. They sometimes will do terrible things in plain sight and pretend as if it's totally okay.
Yeah. Why did you say you didn't know before? If you were on the call, why did you say you didn't know what happened on the call?
In fact, we have evidence of that. So here's Mike Pompeo on ABC's This Week doing exactly that.
President Trump pressed the president of Ukraine 8 times to work with Rudy Giuliani to investigate Joe Biden's son. What do you know about those conversations?
So you just gave me a report about a IC whistleblower campaign, none of which I've seen. I can tell you about this administration's policies with Ukraine.
I haven't seen it. I don't know. How would I know what's happening on the call? I didn't see the whistleblower complaint. Well, another way that you could have known what was happening on the call is that you were on the call. So that's the way you would have known. So now he's admitted because he got caught red-handed. And by the way, is it normal for the Secretary of State to be listening on these calls? No, it is unusual. There are other American officials normally on these calls, including the National Security Advisor. But Pompeo was at the time in a turf war with Bolton, who was the National Security Advisor. So that might be the reason that he was on the call. It might be because somebody on the call has to make the decision on which of the calls they hide in the secret server. I don't know if that was Pompeo or someone else. He's neck deep in all of this. And he mentioned Volker in the first clip that we played you guys. So he was a special envoy to Ukraine. He's the one that Rudy has the text messages from, and he was talking about on Fox News. So
he has stepped down, by the way.
Yeah, so he stepped down last Friday, and reporting is now that Pompeo is preparing to throw Volker under a bus.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Of course, and that might be why Volker stepped down. Like, me doing things that are wrong. No. It was him. It was him, right? And they turn on each other so quick.
Of course.
Left, right, they don't give a damn. All they care about is not me, I'm gonna protect my own ass. Volker, you did what I told you to do and tell Rudy that it's okay to go visit the Ukrainian president? Ha, idiot, now I'm gonna blame you for it. It's a classic Trump trick, actually.
So I want to remind you guys of something. So the call that Donald Trump had with Vladimir Zelensky was on July 25th. Shortly after that, Dan Coats stepped down.
3 days later.
No one's talking about Dan Coats.
Yeah, great point.
I want to hear from Dan Coats. Why did he really step down? What does he know? He needs to also testify as part of this impeachment investigation. But speaking of the impeachment investigation, Pompeo has been subpoenaed by Congress. And he is just outright saying that he will remain defiant and he will not cooperate. In fact, House Democrats looking into the incident have called for 5 current and former State Department officials to testify, but Pompeo said Tuesday that they would not show up. In fact, Pompeo was quoted as saying, the demands deeply violate fundamental principles of separation of powers, which makes no sense at all. And by the way, just yesterday, Pompeo was actually accusing others, House Democrats, of being bullies in this investigation, even though he works for Donald Trump. So let's just note the irony there. He said, quote, "I'm concerned with aspects of the committee's request that can be understood only as an attempt to intimidate, bully, and treat improperly the distinguished professionals of the Department of State, including several career Foreign Service officers whom the committee is now targeting." So what about the members of the intelligence community that the Trump administration has been targeting and has been smearing and has been going after over the Mueller investigation? I mean, he talks about distinguished career professionals. I mean, come on. It's just incredible how they can use these arguments when they live in the biggest glass house in existence.
And with Republicans, it's always projection. So what happened today? Apparently, according to reporting, Inspector General of the State Department went to Congress to tell members of Congress it's actually Pompeo bullying people in the State Department to not testify to Congress, which is their legal obligation. So the Inspector General apparently is basically saying behind closed doors to Congress, you got to help these State Department officials out. They don't know what to do. You're telling them to testify, and they had to testify, but Pompeo is threatening them if they do testify. So that's what an Inspector General's job is, to make sure that you hold people to account, including the person leading your department, in this case, the Secretary of State. So, gee, it's really surprising to find out that in fact it's Pompeo who's the bully.
Yeah.
And there's also a report out from Richard Engel at NBC that when Pompeo ran the CIA, he would throw binders at people all the time.
Yeah.
And that if he got intelligence that didn't match his politics, he'd get furious and yell at people.
And he would demand polygraph tests. In fact, let me give you some of Engel's tweets on this. Pompeo, who accuses lawmakers who want answers of bullying, had fits of anger while at CIA. Former senior intelligence officials say often an official said it would happen if analysis didn't match the political theme of the day. Lots of slam phones, plus demands for polygraphs. And then also former senior US intelligence officials tell NBC News while at the CIA, Pompeo was a bully to subordinates, driving some to quit or seek new assignments. Throwing binders was a popular sport, one said.
So that's who this guy is. You ever had a boss like that that's wrong but doesn't like to admit it, so he blames you? And then I don't know that you have had a boss that throws things at you, because that would get people in trouble in any normal workplace. And then it's all about him and his ambitions, and then he's a bully to you. That's who Pompeo is, that's who Trump is, that prick boss we've all had. And then he goes around saying, oh, please, I'm a distinguished professional. And the Democrats, hilarious, the Democrats are bullying him. This is the last time Democrats ever bullied anyone.
Look, the Democrats said that they would hold anyone who does not cooperate with subpoenas in contempt of Congress. Let's see if they're actually going to follow through on that. I mean, if they have that tough talk and they don't actually follow through when you have someone like Pompeo essentially flipping them off, then no one's gonna take them seriously. So they need to act and they need to be strong.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.